if you want to lose weight, what typically happens is, remember that there's a couple of things that go on when it comes to gaining weight. Often people gain weight because they have to put a protective wall around themselves. So maybe they want to protect themselves from men. Maybe they want to protect themselves from a group of people. So they have to put this wall up. As we take the remedies, you are removing the wall, and then as the wall comes down, there usually typically happens when a person's on one remedy, don't know where it's going to happen, there's all of a sudden instant weight loss because the wall comes down, and that's what the remedies do. They allow that defense mechanism, that wall, to come right down, and then they lose the weight.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have another question. It says, is it helpful to support the emotional growth or better to let it happen naturally?
I'm a really big believer in supporting the emotional growth of these people, and I would do that through encouraging them to read different books. One movie that I have found extremely helpful for people to understand this is What the Bleep Do We Know? In What the Bleep Do We Know, there's section 8 to 12 in that movie. It shows you in a caricature form of they go inside the body and they show you what happens to the cells when it's bombarded by outside influences that are negative in any way, and how the cells hold on to these memories at the cellular level. So I find that books help here, the movies help here, creating affirmations for themselves, helping them create this affirmation, doing the journaling, encouraging them to go walking to get grounded, taking yoga classes to get grounded. Yeah, because people at this point, once you have them here, they really need the help. And this really requires somebody who's got a lot of compassion. So if you're doing it for the money, you might as well just forget it. If you're doing it for the love of this is where you're going to get the most success with it, because these people need you to really support them, to really help them through this. And if you do that, the remedies will work even better.
Fabulous. Thank you. All right. The next question is a practitioner asks, do you consider stopping PSE if they're having a physical trauma or illness?
No. They may want to stop it at that time, but unless it's so difficult for them to go through, if it's very difficult for them to go through their physical trauma, I probably would tell them to stop, but usually I would say just keep going with it. Now, people will stop on their own because of, they're just not being compliant with it. And that's okay, too, because think about it. You're melting an ice cube. Once it's melted, it's gone. So if you stop for a couple of days, it's okay. The idea, though, is to do it in the morning and the night, in the morning and night, so that the trauma can actually be eradicated a lot faster, but in the most perfect of ways, by the 12 drops in the morning and the 12 drops in the evening.
Oh, okay. And to kind of just add to that, another question is, how often do healing crises appear with initial therapy?
A lot. I'm going to say one in every, it really depends. Then I think it's important to explain this to people when they're starting, that people may have severe reactions to this. And I'm going to say it probably happens one in 50 people.
And what's your suggestion for that?
Call me right away, and
okay.
Then you tell me how you're doing, and then we'll drop the drops down. Because it's important that you give them either an email address or a phone number so that they can call you, because if a person's having a healing crisis the next day they start, they have to be able to get a hold of you, because it is going to really rock their socks off, because it just creates so much of a change in that body.
Great. Jane, I have another question. We are having questions coming left and right, so this is fabulous. I have a question from a practitioner that says, what can you do to help somebody that is an alcoholic with rheumatoid? How can you?
Well, first of all, there is alcohol in the remedies. What I get my alcoholic clients to do is to place their 12 drops of the Shavita, the 12 drops of their Mvita, and their acute remedies in a glass today, let it sit overnight for at least 12 hours, and they can sip on half of the water in the morning and half of the water in the evening. So by having the alcohol sit in the glass, the alcohol evaporates, and there's no longer the alcohol, it's just the essence of the remedy. So get them to prepare it 12 hours in advance. But they do get very nervous and very skeptical about that. But this is one of the ways they can do that.
Okay. All right. Another question is, have you treated patients successfully that are on antidepressants, and have you seen any contraindications?
As a matter of fact, I had somebody today who is on an antidepressant, and my statement to them is continue taking your medications. Once we get your numbers up to 100, that's when you can talk to your doctor and they can decide to take you off this. But taking the remedies in addition to taking the antidepressants, I've never found a contraindication whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they've often gone off their medications with their doctor a lot faster than they anticipated.
All right. Jane, I have a question for you it's a few questions into one. It says, coming back for more, what type of situations do not return? And have you learned a way of saying a message that draws them back into the complete therapy? And when a magic message is needed to draw them back, what do you like to say?
Can you say that again, Angela?
So the first part is the coming back for more. What type of situations do not return?
Okay, let's answer that question first. The people who do not return do not want to invest in the money, don't believe in this, and also, once they start on the remedies, it opens up Pandora's box. They can't handle it, so they just have nothing to do with it. And I'm okay with that because they're not ready to do the remedies right now. Those people don't come back.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Yes. Okay. And then another asks about the long-term effects of Rubimeds. What answer should you give your patients when they ask you about the long-term effects?
The long-term effects of taking the Rubimeds is it restores vitality on physical, mental, and emotional levels. It's anti-aging. When you're finished taking these remedies, you will actually look younger than when you started. You will no longer allow people to behave badly towards you. I would go through each one of these energy centers also has what we call a balanced state. So, for instance, this chakra 7 is when you become more balanced here, you become more peaceful, you become more wise, you become more spiritual. I explain to people the long-term effects is each one of these energy centers is going to find its perfect balance and harmony. Now, people don't really understand what I'm talking about. That balance and harmony can be explained this way. When you walk into the grocery store, you actually have a particular frequency to your own physical body. When somebody comes close to you who has a similar frequency to your physical body, there's a harmony. If you see somebody from a distance who's negative or harsh, there's going to be a clash with your energy system, so you will walk down another aisle. When you take these remedies, it allows your own personal vibration to go back into its own natural state of balance and harmony.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we have room for a couple more questions. One question is, what is your experience with treating seasonal allergy or other allergies with PSE?
My experience has been that, this kind of opens the door to other questions like, what are you allergic to? What is in your life that you don't like? And often it is through the sixth chakra because the brow affects your nose. Once they take that, and I used to suffer from these too myself, I found that the remedies are very successful for treating seasonal allergies in addition to giving them things that will help them. So you want to give them the physical support. You also want to give them the emotional support.
Okay, thank you. And central conflict seems to be a common question tonight.
Yep.
Another practitioner asks, how often does a central conflict present real early for those folks who have done, tons of emotional work and are also spiritually connected?
I'd say it comes up pretty fast.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think that the more work you do on yourself, my experience has been you will go through your remedies a lot faster.
Okay.
Because you're open and you're aware and you're ready. You really want to get rid of this stuff, and you're definitely more open to this.
All right. Thank you. Jane, do we have time for one more question?
Yep.
Okay. A practitioner asks, do you have any experiences with patients with cancer and autism in using the Rubimeds?
Yes.
Could you share some with us?
If people with cancer have a tendency for, my experience has been that there's not a huge sense of self-love or self-worth, and autism related to possibly the inoculations. So one of my clients from Jordan, from the Middle East, was autistic. I put him on Shavita 6 and Mvita. I can't recall what it was. He barely spoke a word, and 2 weeks into his protocol, he turned to his mother and said for the very first time, and he was 19 years old, "Mommy, I love you." So they come back to Canada. He's on his third round right now, so it has really helped them tremendously. As far as cancer is concerned, I find that there is a lack of self-love and self-worth here. So the more we work with supporting them on an emotional level and giving them the remedies, it's able to take care of itself. And people have gotten better. That's all I can say.
All right. Thank you so much, Jane.
You're welcome.
And just a last round. Does anybody have any more questions that they would like to ask Jane before we wrap this up? Okay. Thank you so much, Jane, tonight for this presentation tonight. It was very captivating. You really laid out a lot of good information for us out there. And just to recap to our practitioners, please take full advantage of the specials tonight. Just going to take the control back from you, Jane.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So for tonight's web forum special, it's 10% off a bottle of Anxiovita, so please take full advantage of that. That's valid for tomorrow, Thursday, September 15 only. And just a quick recap on our upcoming educational events for this fall. We have the next SANM web forum, September 22nd, with Dr. Manon Lavoie. Really looking forward to that. The next PSE web forum is October 12th with Dr. Craig Wapstaff on the link between emotional trauma and metabolic dysfunction. And just to let you know that this is recorded and it will be archived, so the presentation, PowerPoint slides, will be emailed to you, and the link to this presentation will be emailed to you so you can view it at a later date. And if there's any notes that you've missed, you can go back and take a look at that. And the Level 1 PSE seminar is going to be in Toronto, November 5th, so we hope to see you all there. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. The number for Canadians, 1-800-665-8308, and for our U.S. customers, 1-888-415-0535. And we have a question for PSE Level 2. Lynn, I will get back to you directly on that. I'll send you an email. Okay? All right, so once again, thank you so much, Jane, tonight for the PSE Open Forum. It was great to have you. And for everybody, please have a great night, and we will see you next week for the SANM Open Forum with Dr. Manon Lavoie on putting together the pieces, how to understand the 10 categories of SANM remedies, and how they can increase your clinical results. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.